What's up, guys? NottheWinner here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Hogwarts Legacy. Now, many of us were not sure what to expect when the game was coming out. I've played many of the Harry Potter games in the past, and they're interesting puzzle or two, but overall they're pretty mid tier. They're cool games if you enjoy Harry Potter as a whole, but overall they're not groundbreaking games by any means. So this one, I was kind of expecting everyone's hype to be overplayed, and I'll be honest with you, game's kind of tight. Game's kind of tight. I have played. It says 12 hours on my save. It says 17 on my Steam, but I had some crashing issues for my first like 4 or 5 hours where like my Steam it would crash and then it would stay on like as if it was still running. So I'll trust my save file a little bit closer. So I've played for about 12 hours. I've explored a fair chunk of the story. I've got 14 main story quests left, and I've been knocking out all sorts of side missions. I only have 2 assignments left to complete in terms of unlocking new spells. So that's pretty cool. And I will be honest, you aren't going to unlock your dark arts at the very start. Once you've beaten the game, then you can start getting things like Avada Kedavra. But there is like a battle area that you can go to that actually gives you all of the forbidden spells and then lets you actually get into like a battle arena against enemies where you earn XP and can repeat it over and over. So there is a little playground there. So even if you don't want to be evil or ever cast those evil spells, you can cast them in that safe environment where it's not going to affect you in any way. Um, I do really enjoy how this game's set up. So at first, it introduces you to the world, and it's still a little overwhelming at first, but they do it in very small segments. And the world map itself is very, very large, but not like as big as some of the games that we've played, but it just feels so big in that world. It's a very immersive world where you're constantly using these spells that you have to do things, whether it's grab a page from the sky that's flying around to make sure you have another guidebook page, maybe using Revelio to figure out that there's another one of these pages at a statue, or figure out where all the locks are so you can use Aloha Mora and like pick these locks. Almost everything has like a nice little mini game. These mini games aren't overbearing where they're super long, and everything feels pretty fluid in this game. It's an open world where, yes, if you do a teleport to somewhere, you're gonna wait for a load screen, but if you're just flying out and around, you could literally leave Hogwarts, hop on a broom, fly anywhere that you want, and then just land and walk into another city if you want, or certain towns you can just fly directly into. Um, Overall, the combat system very interesting, being able to unlock multiple pages as you go so you can keep your casting at least varied, I will say, is cool. The spell chaining is also very cool because if you do it right, then you can keep someone bouncing in the air for enough time to basically kill anyone. Some of the larger creatures do take a little bit more time to kill, especially if you're not using any of these evil types of curses. And as far as like all these side quests go, some of them are boring, but overall I've had fun through most of them. And like the way that when you're traveling the world and you find a secret, the way that you can just incorporate one of your spells and just figure out something new that you may have never figured out is very interesting. Do I think that you're gonna get 100 hours out of this game? No. No. Even with all the secrets and hidden stuff in this game. Now, I don't know too much about the post game yet. Once again, I'm only 12 hours in, but when you get to the post game, I'm sure that since max level is 40, you're going to focus on getting max level and then improving that gear to an insane extreme so that the other level 40s that you're facing are super easy. Um, I'm level 24, 25 at the moment, 12 hours in. And the story itself, very cool. Some of the acting from the characters, I hate it. Like, for example, there's this girl who thinks she's really good on a broom. She could outfly a dragon. She's always just talking mad trash, right? And if you're at least decent on the broom, you're gonna stomp her times by 30 seconds, 45 seconds, even a minute, right? and then she still just wants to talk trash, and just doesn't seem realistic, where if she just sat there and watched you hit like a gobsmacking time that she couldn't even come close to in her wildest dreams, that she's just gonna, the way she talks trash is not even like, I lost, so I'm being defensive. It's like, I'm better than you. um so some of the character interactions are interesting. Some of the characters I actually love the interactions with, so I don't have too much complaint there. Learning the spells is cool, and I appreciate that I don't have to do a full motion of doing the spell each time I want to cast it, because that would be super frustrating. I love how many puzzles are incorporated into this game. It allows you to actually have something to do in the game. Yes, some of these puzzles are going to be pretty darn easy, but some of them will rack your brain for at least a moment. And, some of these games out there won't include a ton of puzzles, and that's fair. Or they'll make all the puzzles optional, and that's also fair. But this game does a good job of incorporating them in and making you learn how to use all of your spells because you have so many. It feels a lot like Breath of the Wild mixed with like Arkham Knight. Um, I love the collection aspect. I love capturing, well, not capturing, rescuing beasts and creatures and caring for them, because they give you all sorts of resources and stuff too. Um, the room of requirement idea, to actually be able to have that as your own room where you can do everything you need to do, was a really cool concept, and the beauty of the world is really astounding. Do I think that this game is worth the money? Yes. Do I think that you might beat the game and not want to do all the side stuff? Sure. And even if you just do that, do I think it's still worth it? I'm going to say yes, but that's going to be a hard maybe, just because some of you guys, if you just want to rush through the story and don't actually watch any of it and skip it all and then complete the game, and you're just like, all right, cool, done. Maybe it won't be worth the $60 for you. I honestly can't say for sure. But if you're actually willing to get immersed in a world, this is a beautiful world to get immersed into, and I think this game's going to have people playing it for at least the next month. There's some people who are going to be done with it in the next couple of days. All of us who got on early release, or some people who got it before early release, are likely going to start getting close to being at the end, because we're like grinding it out and making sure we're playing a lot. Obviously, I work full time, so over the weekend I'm going to finish up the entire game and basically try and 100% it. But this is definitely one of those games where you have to think to yourself, like, am I interested in playing a game that has a bunch of small puzzles, a bunch of different unique skills, interesting enough world where there's, a reason where you'd want to fly around and check things out, and some other cool features? Pick it up. If you're someone who's like, I don't like Harry Potter, or if you're, saying like, I know that there's a lot of things about J.K. Rowling. I try and separate myself from the entire scenario there. So if you have an issue with that, feel free to skip the game. I'm not trying to tell you that you have to buy this game despite, whatever Rowling's doing. She didn't really participate in the creation of this game. She gets some money from it, guys, but she didn't participate in this game, and it's not like it's not a woke game. It doesn't shove it in your face, but like, there's things there, and you can clearly see like the game is designed to be meant for all. It's not meant to exclude any people at all. So I did truly appreciate that about this game, and for those who were concerned about that, just know, like, the game itself is a good representation versus, Rowling is whatever to you guys. Like, I get it. I'm not going to dive into that. And for those of you guys want to research it, just pop it up on Google. You'll see a ton of horrible things that she's done. Regardless, guys, this game is, in my opinion, when Elden Ring came out last year in March, well, I guess it was February, I was blown away by that game, and that game was amazing, right? This game has kept me in shock and awe and just immersed to a full degree that I would recommend it. I'm not saying it's better than Elden Ring because Elden Ring was phenomenal. But this is one of those games where this is a top contender for Game of the Year. I do think, like, obviously, there's a ton of amazing games coming out this year. Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2. That's not the official name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. We got, like, the Suicide Squad game where you're killing, like, Batman and all them. There's the oh, what's the one in March that I was looking at? Basically, there's a ton of amazing games coming out this year, and like this is like the year for games. So we'll see if this one still remains a top contender for Game of the Year by later this year. But this is a strong start and an amazing resurgence for Hogwarts and Harry Potter in general, because this game is going to hold an audience and it's going to make people want a sequel to this game or a future game that involves this world. So yes, I do think you should pick it up. Yes, I do think it's going to be one of those long-standing games that's like really good. Do I see people playing it heavily in like 2-3 months from now? The main like gamers who move from game to game, they're not going back to this game to revisit it and try a new build, because by a new build, it's literally just choosing a couple different talent points. But I do think there's going to be a hardcore set of people who are obsessed with this game and are going to stick with it through and through. If this was helpful at all in deciding whether you should purchase, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I know I do tend to ramble a little bit, guys. And honestly, guys, if I had to give this a rating, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It covered everything I wanted. And I will say I'm not bored at all yet. Yes, there's times where I don't want to go and grow an herb so I can do something else. Yes, that's more than fair. But if you plant an herb and then go do two side missions, it's already grown. So, not too big of a deal. I definitely enjoy this game. I definitely suggest it if you guys are looking for something to enjoy and play. And it's pretty relaxing. If you're not playing on hard, now hard, I've been playing on hard for the majority of my run, but when I swapped to normal, I was like, oh, this is actually quite casual. So I would definitely check it out. 100% recommend it, guys. And thanks so much for watching. See y'all in the next one.